what's going on, Solid Steppers? It's Miss Ward coming to you. I'm actually coming to you from South Georgia. I'm headed back down to South Florida. But, you know, there were some things I was reflecting on and I wanted to share it with my followers. You know, the things that I would have done differently, knowing what I know now in appliance repair. So the first thing, and this I think is the most important, and shout out to Brandon, Mike Sneed, Appliance Alliance with TK, Zach Kreider, EJ, Justin Gandy, you know, the crew over there. The thing that I would have, because my strong point is business. Now remember, you got to look at it from wherever your strong point is. My strong point is business, but hands-on is the way to go. And when I say that, for instance, knowing what I know now, I would not have hired and worked with subcontractors out the gate without having a true handle on the technical side of appliance repair. Because the things that cost you money in appliance repair is, number one, people. If you have subcontractors and you're managing people, because you can't detect how grown folks are going to act. At the same time, you have to have very strict criteria, in my opinion, because the liabilities are so large when you get into appliance repair when you have staff. For instance, if you hire someone, it's important that you go through the background process and things of that nature. But also, I'm a strong believer in personality tests. And the reason I say that is because some people interview great, but they show up and they're horrible. They have perfected the art of interviewing. And then a lot of people hire people they're comfortable with from their element, background, and surroundings. And at the same time, you have a mindset. You may go into a customer's home with one mindset, but somebody else may go in with a different one. Like prime example, I go in the home, I have the utmost respect for the customer's surroundings and their home. So I'm meticulous about blankets, protective coverings. A lot of my customers are high-end, but even if they're not a high-end situation, I'm still going to go and show the same respect, especially when I'm doing repairs. So I will show up with my own towels and things of that nature, and cleaning supplies, because some of the work we do, there may be spills, you know, there may be things that we have to clean up. You know, I've walked into situations, you know, my whole goal is leave the appliance better than I found it, and that's even aesthetically. But that's my approach. But guess what? That's the expectation from everybody I work with. But you can't train that to some people because, you know, they grease monkeys. They go in, turn some wrenches, nuts, and bolts, and they done and leave. They don't care how it looks. They not paying attention. If they crack something, scratch something, they don't take pictures before and after. And everybody should be taking pictures before and after. That way you don't have liability. But it's just, you know, so the things I would do differently is I would make sure my technical game is tight. So all these people who feel they can just fix stuff and they can take something apart and figure it out, I'm going to break it to you. That's not the way to go into appliance repair, because it's one thing when you are working on things in your shop at home, but it's another thing when you're walking in someone's home. So when you're walking in someone's home, first you have the customer and their preconceived ideas about your abilities, not necessarily from you and your appearance, even though that's important, but from their previous experiences. So you have to go in and wow these customers with your professionalism, with your knowledge of the appliance, and your ability to repair or diagnose. And I think that only comes from, number one, hands-on, number two, studying. And let me tell you something about studying. Every day I learn something new in appliance repair. So shout out to Brandon. I think they're having some type of appliance repair course coming up. Everything is filling up quickly, so you want to make sure you get over the TMM academics, and he's doing it for a great rate of $650. Let me explain something to you. What they're giving you guys for $650, y'all need to jump on that like yesterday, because you're dealing with refrigeration, dishwashers. I think I'm gonna have to go do it, because y'all already know how I feel about dishwashers. Every time I gotta touch one, I want to throw up, because even though it's basic, there's some things that if you don't really aren't comfortable with the theory, understand the process, you're gonna have a problem. And it'll be minor shit, like minor. When I tell you minor, you'll be frustrated when you figure it out. But why be frustrated when you go get the technical background you need to do these jobs flawlessly? honestly and to continue to execute. You know, I'm all down for sealed systems and refrigeration because that's my bag. But let me explain something to you. I study every day for that on some level. And I have to, because at the end of the day, you got to stay focused, you got to stay driven, and you have to stay on course to greatness. I mean, there's no other way. So, once again, understand what mastery. Mastery is 10,000 hours. So everybody that think they can hop out here and just jump on this damn bandwagon and get in, no. Because I have never, ever, ever supported the idea of appliance repair being a hustle. It needs to be a business, because hustles don't get you EINs. Hustle don't get you business credit. Hustle don't get you sustainable bags in a cash flowing business in a professional way so that you can actually fund your life in generations to come. You know, what other business can you get in and you can basically go to any city in the United States and turn the flip and turn it on? Appliance repair. Like I'm doing it right now. So like I said though, don't go in here and stumble because you don't know. So that even if you're hiring people and working with people, you know what they're telling you is true or false. I'm trying to tell y'all. So it's important to get your coaching up. Make sure you have a great business coach, a great technical coach for those of you guys who actually invest in the front end. Because the thing is, once you hit the ground running, most people are intimidated. And by the time they get up the courage to get out here, all the opportunities are going to be gone. Because the big boys are gobbling up the service industry. A lot of big names are getting into everything from HVAC to all kind of commercial repairs, plumbing, electrical, and appliance repair. And they're coming in with new technology to push you out. So you better get in here, get your game tight, and then you need to be able to go to war. You got to be able to win. And that's why I can move from state to state and do different things, but I have a process. I have a process. And I have a process that I personally utilize and strategize with to make my money no matter where I am. So with that said, those are tidbits I want to give you. Number one, what I would have done differently. I would make sure my technical game was tight. And the reason I say that is, it's just like you got techs who are the best, and it's nothing for them to go in and fix an appliance like, duh. How come you don't know it? It's the same way with me in business. Business all day long. Business credit structure, you know, how to set up subsidiaries, satellite businesses, how to make sure your taxes. That is my game. So because I have a mechanical background and I come from automotive, you know, for me the natural transition was appliance repair. And the reason high-end was the deal because those were the clients I dealt with over there. So it doesn't matter what service industry you're in, there's a particular segment of the population that you have to cater to in a certain way to sustain a certain standard of living. These are facts to, you know, reap the rewards of being good at your game. But the thing about dealing with certain caliber of customers is that you better know it. And not only better know it, you better be on it. And if you say you're going to do something and get it done, you better get it done right. They don't care about the price. What they care about is time management, buying back their time, and resolving the issue. It's like anybody else. You pay for something, you expect it to be done and done right the first time. The only way you can get to that point and that level in appliance repair is to understand theory, to understand the basics, and apply on a daily basis. There's no way you can sit here, read a book, and shout out to Eric Clenert in the Home Appliance Repairman book. But at the end of the day, let me explain something to you. You can study that all day, and that's a big ass book. You can take a chapter a week, outline, study, and that way when you get into the repairs, you have a reference. Because the beautiful thing about that book is the basics never change in appliance repair. They never change, but you must understand theory. You must understand refrigeration. You must understand defrost systems. You must understand airflow. You must understand controls, and you must understand seal systems. You know, because if you don't understand that, you're going to lose. If you don't understand frost patterns when you deal with the seal system guy, you'll never know when you're looking at a restriction, a leak, you know, or an airflow issue when you're looking at evaporator. You have to understand. If you don't know how to check pressures and know when it's a vacuum, what does that mean? Like, you have to know this. And guessing ain't gonna get it. I mean, I see a lot of people, I check amps for the compressor. I feel the condenser to see if it's hot. That's cute. And that's okay. But that's still guessing. Knowing the facts is when you actually hook up the lines. When you actually pierce the line and get proper, accurate pressure readings. Now, there are pros and cons to that, because the cons is if they're in warranty, you have to be very careful, because you opening that system voids their warranty 99% of the time, so you're doing the customer a disservice. But if they're not in warranty and you really want to make sure you're diagnosing it properly, this is what you have to do. So at the end of the day, know what you're doing and do it well. And practice makes perfect, because that's coming from this word. Practice makes perfect. So whatever you're going to do, you need to do it well, but you need to be consistent, and then you need to identify your weaknesses and then go shore them up. It's not that hard. All y'all know what y'all scared of. All y'all know what y'all don't feel comfortable with. And then let's talk about the stuff you feel comfortable with, and then go to a visit and have an oops moment. Like, damn, how did I miss that? You missed it because there's a way to do everything. Prime example. We all know when you go check a dryer, the first thing your ass is supposed to do is what? Check to make sure you got 240. L1 and L2, 120 and 120. Point blank. You check it at the wall, the outlet, you check it at the cord, you check it at the back of the dryer. You pull out your schematic. And let's talk about schematics. How are you in appliance repair and can't read schematics? Really? Like, what are you doing? People go off of pattern recognition. I've seen this before, or they call and ask somebody for the answer. And I can talk about this because I have been guilty of this shit. People have so much respect for me. They tell me any damn thing, which is wonderful, but I understand what my weaknesses are, and I turn my little round brown ass around and open a book, because at night I don't have a social life. When I stop in my day, I'm constantly working on myself, because in my mind I have so much to do and so little time to do it. So my time I'm very critical with. Either I'm spending time with my damn self, centering myself and being focused on my goals, because I'm like everybody else. I'm like squirrel, distraction. And believe me, I get distractions thrown at me every day. But the reality is I stay focused on the plan. Doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody else, just means that I'm clear about what my direction and goals are. And I suggest you do the same, because if it's not for you, it's against you. I watch so many people in business that walk around and they're so distracted, and they could be so phenomenal, but that's some childhood trauma they ass need to deal with. Because as an adult, nobody should be able to stop you from doing what you want to do. You shouldn't be pointing your finger at somebody saying they did this. Man, grow the hell up. I can't stand that. I hate when people give me excuses. I'm the last one to give excuses from, but y'all heard that in the previous video, so we're not going to go back down that trail. But like I said, have an outstanding Saturday. Reach for every dream and make it possible. And remember, whatever you're doing, get your infrastructure in place, get your technical background in order, and invest in yourself. If you'd like for me to coach you personally, feel free to hit the links, the consulting links below. And remember, stay blessed, stay focused, and keep stepping, solid steppers. All right, Text the Titans. Let's get it.